Well, thanks for joining me today. I think today's going to be a pretty good video. We're going to talk about planting blackberries and raspberries. We'll be right back.
This video covers how to grow blackberries, growing blackberry plants, and it's the same way as we grow raspberries.
Well, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the blackberries and raspberries like I was talking about, and I got a little diagram here for us and a couple of little notes with some little tips for you. And what we're going to do is go through a little bit of how to do this here with the diagram, and then we're going to head right on over there to the permaculture area. We're going to actually install this, and we'll go step by step. So if you've never planted any blackberries before, pretty easy. So come on up and let's take a close look at the little sketch I got, so we know what the plan of the day is. Come on up. Here's the little diagram I wanted to show you. I wanted to point out that the way I plant my raspberries and my blackberries are exactly the same procedure. There's really no difference. I have this little diagram I wanted to share with you, just to show you how I do it, so that it maybe make it easier for you when you get ready to plant yours. So whenever you get ready to plant your raspberries or your blackberries, what you want to do is you want to look for an area in your yard that has at least 6 hours of full sun with a couple of 2 or 3 hours of partial shade. That's just about right for these guys. And you don't want to plant it in soil that's been used to grow eggplants, potatoes, or tomatoes because of the wilt and fungal disease that's in the soil, and that makes a pathogen of that disease right into your new plants. So don't plant behind these types of plants or you're highly susceptible to getting that disease in your new plants. Now when I put these in, I'm going to space them out 5 feet apart because they're going to cascade out and they're going to make a pretty good sized bush, and it's bramble, so you want to give it plenty of room to give them 5 feet apart. That way the plant's got room to cascade out and mature into full growth, and you also have room to maneuver around the plant when you want to harvest it. One thing else you want to remember is that these berries are going to require frequent watering. So what I'm going to do is I use a little bit of peat in my hole to retain the moisture. So peat is a good thing when you're trying to keep your plants moist, because if not, it's going to tend to dry out, and if they dry out, then you're going to just lose your plant. Now, this soil that you're going to be using for these berries, it needs to be slightly acidic, a 4.0 to 5.5 on the pH scale. So you may want to do a pH test on your soil if you're not sure. And you can get one of those pH kits, test kits at anywhere like Lowe's or a local nursery. They're only about $10, and it's just a little test tube that comes with, you put the chemical in and you put a little bit of a soil sample in there, and it changes colors, and you compare that color of that fluid to a color chart that it gives you, and you can tell what that pH is in your soil. It's not a real highly scientific or high-tech procedure, but it gets you pretty close right into the ballpark, so you can tell if you need to amend the soil in any way. Now, if your soil's kind of sweet, like a 6.0 or 6.5, you're going to probably need to add a little bit of sulfur to lower that pH down, to get it down. And that's an organic amendment. So go ahead with your sulfur to get your pH down to the acidic level that you're looking for, 4.0 to 5.5 on the pH. Where I'm going to be putting mine, I had just tons of pine trees out there and a lot of pine straw on the ground for many years, and I cleared out that area, so that soil is already pretty low. I think it's about a 5 now, but I'm going to give it just a little bit more of this sulfur just to show you how I do it. That way I can pull that pH down just a little bit more, just to be sure that I have it where I want it. So I'm going to add a little bit of sulfur into my soil out here when I plant this. And I'm going to also use the bone meal, to promote the root growth, to give me that phosphorus that I'm looking for, and I'm going to add in some blood meal to promote the foliage growth. Both of these are organic as well. So let's take a look at the diagram here, and let me explain to you what we're going to do here. Let me see if I can get a little bit better close-up view of it for you. Okay, I hope this is a little bit better and easier to see for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig me a hole that's 24 inches wide and 9 inches deep. The reason I do that is, the root system on most of your vegetables and plants that we use in our garden are usually only about 9 inches deep anyway. So, the plant that, the root ball that came on this one, that distance right there is only about 3 inches. So that plant has plenty of room to grow. When I first plant it, it'll, or even if it's in a pot, a container, a little 4-inch container, it would only be about that big, right? So just think of it this way: you're putting in that thing, that plant, and the root ball, or the container grown plant, whatever you end up getting, it goes into the ground, and it has plenty of room to root out into a hole this size. That's why I make it 9 inches deep. Now, when I plant my berries, first thing I'm going to do is put some fish in the bottom of the hole. And if you don't have fish, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to have it. But if you do have some, it's really an excellent organic fertilizer to use, and I always try to use it every chance I get. And you can go to a local bait store or one of those fresh fish markets, and you can get frozen bait fish really cheap, and use that. Or you can go to a fresh fish market and ask them if you can have their heads and guts, and they'll give it to you for free. So that works really terrific. So what I do is I put that fish in the hole, and I cover that fish with lime, pulverized dolomitic limestone. I cover it very good with the lime, because I don't want that odor to work its way up through that soil, and the critters get to smelling it, and they come over here and they dig up your plant trying to get down there to it. But if you lime it, it's going to keep that smell from getting up through the ground and something destroying your plant. And don't worry about the pH going back up, because remember, I added a little bit of sulfur in here to keep that acidic level where I need it. So that's not going to be enough to really impact it. So don't worry about that part. So I'm going to put in the fish at the bottom of the hole. That'll be down at 9 inches deep. And then when I plant the plant, those roots will finally root down, and they'll find their way down, and they'll get into that decomposing fish one of these days. Just about the time that's good and decomposed, that's about the time the roots get there, and the plant's really needing that burst of energy. So that fish is, like for later. You put it in and let it decompose while the plant's maturing. When that root gets down there, it's supper time. So that's the way I'm going to do that. Now let's go back to talking about how to put this thing in physically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig the hole. It's 24 inches, 9 inches deep. I'm going to mix in together 3 equal parts of peat, black cow, and topsoil. I mix those parts together, and I dig out my hole, and I backfill the hole with these 3 equal parts of these elements here. So I take the soil that came out of the hole, and I create a berm out here that goes all the way around the plant, which creates a basin. So whenever it's raining or you're watering your plants, it captures that rainwater, or that water that you're using from the irrigation. It captures that and kind of makes a little basin here to get that water to work its way right on down into that root system just right. Now, remember, they like frequent watering, so that's another good reason to put that berm on there, because it helps you to retain your water so it just don't run off. So that's a good thing you want to do, and I always recommend doing that. So put a 3-inch berm with the dirt that came out of the hole, and I backfill the hole with 3 equal parts of peat, black cow, and topsoil. Now after I get that all in there, I'm going to add in my blood meal and my bone meal. I'll mix it in here about a half a cup, and I'll mix it all together in here real good. Then I'll dig back a hole, and I'll insert my plant, pack it in, cover it up, and then I'll water it very well. I'll deep water it. By what I mean by that is I will actually fill this basin up where it's standing in water so it can soak down real slow, real good. And you want to do that several times over the first 2 or 3 weeks especially. Get it good and saturated so that it gets down into that bottom and that root ball and everything, especially if you're using bare root. Keep it good and wet. So deep water it until it gets going after about 2 or 3 weeks, and then you can go back to about a half an inch of water a week would probably be plenty for them. Half an inch to an inch of water a week, you know. So in other words, maybe every 3 days, make sure you water the plant. So this is basically the procedure we're going to go through today. We'll stick this little diagram on our Facebook page, so if you want to go take a look at this for yourself, you can. So let's head on over to the permaculture area and let's get these little rascals in the ground and get them growing. See you over there. Well, we're out here at our new permaculture area, and we're really excited about this. We've been working on it for quite a while, but we're starting to put some items in, and looking forward to the future, because permaculture takes a long time to get going. So this is something we can get started now while I'm bringing the place to life, and it can be growing and getting the job done. So I've already got all my holes dug. I've only got 8 plants. I've got all holes dug. I'm gonna use the peat and the black cow and the topsoil, and I've also got my blood meal and my sulfur, as well as my bone meal. And I've got my garden lime that I can put on top of my fish, and I got my fish ready to go. So I think I'm about ready to get started. So let's get started putting this thing together. If you've got a wheelbarrow, you want to take these 3 equal parts of your soil and blend them together in your wheelbarrow, and then backfill your hole. In my case, my hole's so big, since I'm making it so big, I'm just going to do it right in the hole and mix it in the hole itself. So that saves me a step of having to go get the wheelbarrow. But let's go ahead and get these things in the ground, and the sooner we get them in, the sooner we can enjoy some blackberry pie, and Nancy can get her smoothie. So let's get started. Well, there we go. I got some sweetie pies planted for my sweetie pie. It's just a matter of time now. We get us some of that blackberry pie, and she's gonna get her some smoothies. So we're off and running with some more of our permaculture. My raspberries are on order. They're going to be coming in April, and this is only January, so I've got a couple of months to wait, but those are planted exactly the same way that you saw me plant these blackberries, no different. So I'm going to be planting them in an area right across here from the blackberries, so they're conveniently located, so when Nancy comes out, she can pick blackberries and or raspberries at the same time, because they pretty much bloom about the same time. So we're looking forward to having some more berries included into our permaculture. So if this is going to be part one, remember permaculture takes a long time to come into harvest. So we have to do a part one of this video, just show us how we got them planted and put into the ground. I'll do another part two of this video in the months ahead after these things mature and they start to produce, and we'll look at that, and I'll actually do the progression of the plant all the way through the stages of development, showing the blooms and what the harvest looks like, and maybe Nancy will even show you a recipe on this. I'm sure she will. So anyway, we'll come back later with part two. Just be patient, because permaculture takes patience. You have to wait. So I have to wait with you. So we'll come back when these are ready, and we'll do part two. And if you like our videos, please subscribe, be a part of our Homestead family while we're bringing our new homestead to life little by little. It's an exciting journey, and we want you to join with us and follow along. So until me and Nancy see you next time, always remember, by His hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you for watching our videos. We love making them. If you like our videos, we ask you to partner with us in our mission by sharing our videos from YouTube and post from Facebook to all social medias. It really inspires and encourages us. Some great places to share is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please like if you like this video, subscribe, click the notification button so you never miss another video. Click below for products we used in the videos, and you could also partner with us without spending a penny. We welcome your encouraging comments, prayers, and questions. And thank you for watching and sharing our videos and posts. Have a blessed day.